Hey everybody, this is Mickey G. In this episode, Rodney and I talk about relationships between men and women. And should everything be equal? Even talking about the WNBA. Well, we hope you like this edition of Old Fools Talking Old School.
And I was thinking when you was talking about the preacher thing, I don't know if you heard that story about Steven Jackson, the basketball player, in his prenup with his fiance.
Oh yeah.
That was that was on the news here too. They was talking about well, not the news, but the radio station. They were talking about that. They had it as part of their call-in session on that. What do you think? He's saying he wants a prenup, and the fiance is saying she ain't gonna do it and all. And I guess part of the story was she wanted a particular preacher to perform their ceremony. So she told, Steven Jackson, hey, we need to go to counseling and talk about this with the preacher. And and I guess the preacher told him, no, I don't think you should do a prenup. You should just let the Lord take care of it. And I guess Steven Jackson said, no, I made this money. I'm going to take care of it.
Damn right.
And I'm like, see, there's another situation where maybe that's not the best situation for you to be making that decision on from a religious standpoint.
Hell no. And plus, too, that was her preacher, number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably looking at what he going to get out of the deal. The thing of it is, well, like they always say, the Lord takes care of fools and children. He ain't no child. See, this whole rigged system of, I believe in respecting women. But women got to respect a man. They got all this knowledge that they know what a man's supposed to do, but none of them know what the hell they supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And all this, a man is supposed to take care of a woman. Okay. Now, I'm a hypocrite in that I believe in some of that if you're going to be the king of your household, but I also believe in a woman needs to get out there and get her part in there too. You need to bring something to the table. It's just an age-old thing of just you listen to the vernacular. He got me pregnant. No, you laid there with your legs open too. Or when a relationship is what it is, and if it fails, oh, she shouldn't have married him, and this is his fault, da-da-da-da-da-da. But if they're doing good, boy, they are so good together. They but it's always like there's a woman, the woman's got a way out of it. Either we both good or we both bad. And I just get kind of tired of that, if you love me, you wouldn't want a prenup. No, I love myself too. That's why I want a prenup.
I was actually surprised at the number of women who called in on the show saying almost the opposite of what I thought they would say. They were saying, what's wrong with that? That's his money that he made in his career, and he's looking out for what he's done with it. Now they said, now, if we go get married, we have a prenup. They said, I think part of that prenup should also have language that money that we made once we got married, that's in like a separate pot. I understand you got your money, but that money is our money now because, we're a couple and we sort of made that together just, to a certain point. Of course, there's never a 50-50. We always know that.
Yeah.
But
even still, just the inference of that, you made the money after we got married because I was the one to draw. Still, you claiming something that you ain't really participating in. But I get the gist of it. We've accumulated this supposedly together.
Right.
But you accumulated your part at the damn nail parlor and the hairdresser. I was working. So but you can't have it all.
Well, no,
I
no.
I give it to you. And the only time it don't work, as far as I'm concerned, is when you got a woman there who's just trying to get over. Just like who was that? It was somebody just like that girl with her OnlyFans ass on there with Shannon Sharpe with his stupid ass. You know, I don't see girl, you put yourself in a position. He shouldn't have done nothing. I don't know if they claiming he raped her or he did whatever he did. But what the hell does she need $50 million for? For basically on there selling your ass on OnlyFans.
Because she knows she had somebody she can get some money out of.
Yeah, well, he was stupid.
You know? Yeah. I mean
he was stupid.
That to me is part of the problem. And to me, and it's not only, men that make those kind of bad decisions. I look at people like Mary J. Blige.
Yep.
She kept making those bad decisions with these men. I guess, in her heart, she felt they loved her and would do right by her. But she saw that they weren't, so why do you keep going back to the well when you know the well is tainted,
Yep.
So yeah, it makes you wonder sometimes.
That's her kick so she can make another Woe Is Me album.
The album. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So yeah. But yeah, it makes you wonder sometimes why they make those kind of stupid mistakes. I was reading that article from Shannon Sharpe saying he was telling, I guess, who is it that owned the show? Was it ESPN or whoever? Not to make it public that he's basically been fired until after the Hall of Fame induction for his brother.
Yeah.
And they went ahead and did it anyway. And he was saying he apologized to Sterling over and over. And he kept telling him, you don't need to apologize to me and that kind of thing. And I said, well, you're a grown man. You put yourself in that kind of position.
Yes, sir.
There's women out there that are nothing but gold diggers. And, you fell right into that trap,
Indeed.
So you have nobody to blame but yourself. But yeah, I was going to ask you before I forget it while I still got on my mind. Did you see that press conference with those sports guys that Trump has on his, I guess like sports advisory team or whoever?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, he had that guy they call Triple H from the WWE and shoot, I forgot who else he had. He had a couple of, I can't think of who it was, but he also had LT Lawrence Taylor is on the team.
Another sexual predator.
You need to go out there and see it, right? Because LT got up to the microphone. He said, all I can say is I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what we're supposed to do, but I'm going to do whatever I can to support. I said, now what kind of person gets up there on a nationwide team with the president standing, of course, knowing who the president is. And first thing you'll say is, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but whatever I can, I'm going to support you. I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh my.
That's what he does, recruit people as dumb as he is.
Because I keep going back to that I don't know if it's the last bust that LT had, drug bust he had, but when that other cop was telling him, we had somebody who was working, undercover, and they said that they sold you some drugs. And Lawrence Taylor said, bring his black ass back up here. Let him say that to my face. And the undercover cop said, Mr. Taylor, we never said he was black. I will never forget that. Bring his black ass back up here. Let him say that to my face.
Mm-hmm.
He never said he was black. So why I said that's LT. That's who you got on your sports advisory team. Mm-hmm. And he's gonna come up there right you sitting there right beside him and say, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm going to do whatever I can to support
you. And this ignorant ass don't even know that you were the fifth choice. You wasn't the first choice. Everybody else turned it down.
Turned him down. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, goodness. But yeah.
I'll tell you, there's an idiot born every day, man.
It is. It is. That's the truth of the matter. But I don't know. I didn't know. I didn't even know they had this. Trump had formed this group. I didn't even know it till I looked up and saw it on TV, and I'm like, what's going on? There's the wrestling guy. There's LT. What is this group now? Listen to it, and I'm thinking, oh boy. I said
Well,
that's
that's just like this bastard, man. He's involved in everything that don't matter. This country's going down the drain, and he's trying to tell the Washington Commanders to name their name back to Redskins. That's your important part in this, which he's being told what to do because he's an idiot. And to me, it's just frustrating to sit here and listen to that, and then to see so many Americans are rah-rahing about it. Like that, I reiterate my opinion of Americans. They're some of the stupidest you ever want to see. You got a shyster up there feeding you crap, and you going for it. Well, and I'll take that back. Let me downgrade a little bit. 50% of us don't believe that, but there's 49.5 that do, and that's a significant amount of people.
yeah. Well, I really think the number is even different than that. I think there's probably 65% of people who don't believe that stuff he said. Only thing about it is some of those people don't go out and vote. So those who do believe go out and vote, and he wins elections and stuff. I think it's even more people than that. But, they've gotten so disgruntled with the system that they don't go out and vote, but they feel the same way too. So you got that lesser percent that really is running everything.
Yeah, you're right.
Which is sad, which is really sad. But I don't know. Like I say, I just try to keep my ear open enough to know what's going on in the world, kind of thing. But I just gotten to the point to where I say there's more in life than listening to that, or you go crazy.
Yeah,
it just some of it doesn't even make sense. When you look at it from that standpoint, and there's grown men supposedly, and some women are up there, nodding their head and got that bobblehead doll look going just because, there's something in it for them. It's something in it for them. They're not doing this because they believe everything that comes out of his mouth. They believe it because there's something in it for them.
And the only thing I can think of it for white women that's in it for them is just white supremacy, because he's taking away your rights to determine your bodily function or whatnot. Next thing you know, he's trying to go so far back into the 50s and 40s that he'll be going for your damn vote.
Yeah.
That's what I can't understand. And every time I see him out there, especially when it comes to a woman issue, you see all these old gray battle axes standing up there. Well, hell, it ain't going to affect you because you way past reproductive years and anything that might have to do with having your own autonomy for your body as a young woman. But how can you, with daughters and granddaughters and nieces, how can you support that? But
yeah. Well, I think a lot of it's because a lot of those same people are the ones that are in that group too. They ain't gonna have no more kids. They're well past that.
Oh yeah, exactly.
They're the ones. A lot of them. They're the ones that's going out and voting too. I mean, you see them at his rallies and things like that. You don't see nowhere near the number of young people at his rally as you do, especially Democratic candidates and things of that nature. So yeah, those are the same people. They don't care because it ain't affecting them. Just like the same one who voted for him, and now some of his policies are coming back to kick them in the ass, and all of a sudden they're all up in arms. And I'm like, well, you should have been up in arms at the very beginning, but you didn't think it was going to hurt you. You didn't think it was going to affect you. Now that you see that you're part of that group that he's coming after, it ain't just immigrants and it just ain't minorities. You're in that group too. Now all of a sudden, all those people are up in arms about things.
Mm-hmm. And that's the ultimate ignorance. The ultimate, and I can't remember that organizational one to where they're the ones that telling them what judges to select in there because they got their agenda in mind and all of that. But I think it's just a matter of time before this senile old bastard, they're going to get rid of him because they're grooming a young, stupid individual to sit there in this place and be just as ignorant, but he's young and he'll be there for a while. Because I think they're about sick of this bastard here. He's so stupid, contradicting himself. And you're going to sit there and tell Zelensky he's tinkering with World War III, and what are you doing? Now you done put 2 nuclear subs in there. You just provoking, trying to prove that you can stand up to Putin, and everybody know you kiss Putin's ass. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is. It is.
I sit here, man. The more I look at it, I get so frustrated, and I'm like, this is, ridiculous. I can hardly look at it anymore.
Yeah. Like I say, that's why I don't. Like I say, I just I don't look at it. I have to. I more listen just to see what's going on, and I might go online and just see what the headlines are, and that's sort of the extent of it with me, because I know it doesn't defies logic, some of the stuff that goes on.
Definitely.
So I'm like, you just gotta let it go. If it's one of those things it'll eat you up if you just go in full force on and try to determine why people do what they do and why would they vote for somebody like that. But I just don't even go that way anymore. I just try to make sure I know what's going on in the world and just sort of leave it at that, because it'll drive you crazy.
Because, again, too, we're from career-driven positions of seeing what the problem is and getting some results, changing things, and you can't do it. All you can do is sit here and hope for the best. Hope somebody comes with some kind of clarity and some kind of duty to save this democracy for whatever it's worth. It's just frustrating. You can't make sense of it, and I look at it out. What was I was looking at something the other day? One of your boys from up there. If I knew anybody that their son wanted to sign with Bruce Pearl, I'd call him myself. So you better not never let nobody play ball for him. He down there talking all that mess down there. Obama is the reason that this happened. The division in our country, because when he was elected, he was doing all. It didn't make any sense. And then what he was trying to say, well, I know what he was trying to say. He's trying to say his fault is Obama's fault because of all this division. Yeah, because y'all hated the fact that it was a black man in the White House. Hell, that wasn't his fault. He got elected. And you gonna sit up there and blame him for everything. And then that's what gets me about nitpicking, trying to nitpick everything that he did. When you see this is out in front what this clown is doing, but you ain't got nothing to say about that. And I'm like, I cannot believe that them damn coaches from Alabama ain't nothing but some redneck damn racist Klansmen. Him and that other mug from Auburn that's in the Senate now. He's so fucking stupid.
Shoot, I can't think
Yeah, I
of his
can't even
name.
think of his name. Yeah.
The former coach.
Yeah. The football coach.
I can't think of his name.
With his sorry ass. He'll only claim the fame he got is because old dumbass Cam Newton played for him. That's the only thing he ever did, because they won a national championship with him.
Well, they paid him to play for him. I mean,
of course.
And his dad and his uncle, all they was after was some money.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's all that was about. It wasn't because he was already down on what Mississippi State's campus was, and then all of a sudden showed up at Auburn the next day. So yeah, that was all about money.
Hey, I don't blame him.
Everybody knew it was.
All them make all the money. That's why they nutting up now, because these players now got that NIL and they getting their share. Because them coaches and presidents of colleges have been doing that all along. Another slave system, making all the money. Them players can't even get a hamburger. So,
well, I saw where the WNBA players are talking about parity and things of that nature, and
they need to shut up.
Well, I mean, I understand, I understand where they're coming from, but you got to realize all of this is about capitalism. It's about business. It's about making money.
Yes,
and you can't demand the same level of compensation as NBA players.
That's the point.
When your league may not even exist after, this year. I mean, you're to the point to where you can't hardly even make payroll, but you're going to ask for more money. I mean, you got to realize that, that's what drives the league. The
That's
NBA
right.
wouldn't be where it was and paying
That's
these
right.
kind of salaries if they weren't making money for owners to be able to pay these kind of salaries. So I said the same thing. I mean, I don't have a problem with them advocating for themselves, but I think trying to be putting yourself on the same level and parity with NBA or NFL players or whoever it may be. No, you just can't do that.
No, you ain't.
Can't do that.
You haven't a leg to stand on. That's just like me trying to go and claim PTSD when I was never in Vietnam. I was never
Mhm.
in over there. It's the same thing. The only reason your league exists is because the NBA subsidized it.
Mhm.
Because when y'all was playing in front of crowds of 150 people, then you didn't have no TV. Now you got a little TV, but you ain't got no major TV. And that's what my whole point is that, no, I think equal work for equal pay, I'm all with that. But y'all game ain't that fantastic. Y'all sit there, y'all talk the same game like the NBA, but y'all ain't drawing. The NBA fills arenas, 3-4 times a week.
Right. Right. Right.
Y'all got to have a big game once a month. So no, okay, you're a professional athlete, you're a professional basketball player, but you're not on the same level.
No. No.
Your whole game is below the rim. It ain't really exciting. I mean, you can watch it and be entertained, but it ain't, it's not the same. So I don't. That's why I don't agree with them. Trying to act like, your product is not generating the amount of money, and that's what it gets back to what you said, capitalism. Hey, if y'all game was all of that, y'all be getting that.
Yeah. The sponsors be there and they be paying the big money,
Yes, sir. And that's the only thing I got. I mean, I enjoy watching the little girl. I enjoy watching the women's play to a certain extent, but it ain't like nothing I'm on the edge of my seat for.
No, no, no. And I think, that's when you come out with those kind of what I consider almost outlandish statements, about wanting to be paying on the same level as the NBA player, that makes you look even worse. I mean, if you
Yeah,
come out and said, what can we do to strengthen our financial position? I mean, hey, what can we do to our game to make it more exciting, to draw more fans? That would be a whole different thing. But I mean, I think it's like, and it may be, biased to say that, but I mean, I think there's always going to be a disparity between men's professional sports and women professional sport.
of course.
I mean, I think that's going to
Just the way
always,
it is.
yes, well, yeah, that's going to always be there.
Yeah.
And I think, just from that fact alone, they're never going to be on that same kind of level as men's game. I think you just got to come to a point of saying, how can we maintain our league? Sometimes that means you're gonna probably be making less money.
Yes, sir.
That's just the way things are. And I don't know anything that would change that would really all of a sudden make them a boom sport. They've tried the superstar girls out of college, and they've tried the adversarial approach between,
Yeah, that's the whole claim to
yeah,
fame.
that kind of thing. And that's only going to get you so far. I mean, it
Yep.
all comes down eventually to your brand of basketball and the excitement of basketball that you bring. Why haven't the USFL and all them other pro football leagues boomed?
Same reason.
It's not, they've got, lower uh, college players. They've got a game they try to make more exciting. You remember what one of the league, I keep getting them all mixed up. They started off with that kickoff where you had to go get the ball and they was having all that, they were trying to make the game, put your nickname on your back of your shirt, a bit of your reel and all that kind of stuff. And people just didn't go for it. It's just the nature of the beast,
That's right.
It's the nature of the beast.
And the women, I mean, you're not inferior, but you don't have the physical capabilities of men.
No.
That's just the bottom line. And you have to claim your strongness and that you can bear a child and we can't. Well, I give that to you. Please have it. But It's not the same.
No,
And
it's not.
even you look at all the sports as far as when women go professional. Look at boxing. Yeah, you got one girl up there who she could probably beat some of the young lightweights in men, but as your heavyweight champion, okay, there's an exception. Okay. But as a whole, no. It's just like women in combat. There's a few women that could go in there and carry their load. I don't believe in keeping them from that, but as a whole, women ain't geared for that. And
No, it's it's just not. I mean,
exactly.
and that's the way, that's just life. That's the human element
That's
about it.
right.
And there ain't not a lot you can do about it. Now, playing against your peers, just like anything else, there's players that are just better than others. I mean,
Yes, sir.
whether you're male or female. But when you step over that line and start going in, in between the lines with men and all, I mean, it's just a whole different thing. And I think they need to try to concentrate on how they can maintain their league versus trying to bump up the salary, because that's usually is always the downfall of most leagues is salaries.
Right.
That's where all your money are going. If you don't have people filling the stands and the sponsorships and the TV deal to overcome that, you're just not going to last. It's just
Exactly.
plain is basic math. It's just not going to add up if you can't do that.
That's right. And they ain't no different than, like you said, like the USFL and all them, where there's inferior talent. They ain't gonna make it.
Mm-hmm.
And women, as far as you trying to, I think you got a niche, and that there's somewhere for women to go. Don't try to compare yourself to what the men are, because it is not the same. I mean, you got what, 3 or 4 games, maybe over a 2-month period that might be a sellout. That ain't bringing no revenue in for what y'all demanding as far as salaries are concerned.
Oh no, nowhere near,
Yeah.
near.
Granted, I wish it was a situation where you could draw those kind of, so you don't have to go over to Europe to supplement your income. But hey, when men first started playing, especially black men, hell, they had to have a day job. You know what I mean? Y'all got all the degrees, get a job till the season starts. I'm not laughing at them, but I'm just being frank.
Yeah.
I mean, let the league grow. If you keep playing and you keep doing the things you're doing, you might get a following as to where you can demand more money. But as far as I see it, right now, the NBA is supplementing y'all, just keeping your teams in the cities that you're in and keeping the venues that you can get. And you talking about salary. So it's about business, and that's what I think was being lost in the deal. Because when you're a player, you're looking at it from one perspective and one perspective only. You ain't looking at who paying them light bills for, or when you're traveling, you let Caitlin Clark come in and let y'all get on some chartered flights now. Well, hell, that didn't just come up out of nowhere. Somebody's paying for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think some of it's the fact that these are young people that grew up in the in the money era,
Yep.
and they don't know the sort of inside of how that money is made. I think it's just a simple. Well, I got a talent, I got a sport, I need to get paid for it. No, you got to know how the money's made. And then it's just as simple as that. But you just can't go up and demand stuff. You got to have a product that's going to bring in that revenue. Just like any other business. You can pay your employees more if you're making more.
Exactly.
It's just simple as that. That's just common sense. And if you're not doing that, you just you ain't gonna pay multi-million-dollar contracts, and then tomorrow you're out of business. You can't do that. I just don't think they understand that part. I think it's more of a we want to be equal kind of.
Oh yeah.
Well,
we're professional, so now you think and here's as far as I'm concerned, here's the litmus test. Well, at least one. If y'all all that, there should be multiple endorsements coming along for a whole bunch of folks. Nike and Adidas and all them folks, they ain't overwhelming enthused. That's really where the money is made. You get them people happy. then they get behind the league, and the league makes money, then all y'all make money. But, they right now with them, they act like it's a big deal when somebody gets a shoe.
But
So,
like I say, I think that's just the nature of not being so knowledgeable of the economics of things, And I think there was a little bit of a part when they first started, well, like you say, with the NBA supplementing them and, some of the sports gear, the shoe companies, trying to play a part and give them some outlets to do those kind of things. But you can only go so far with that. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't just keep giving handouts. You have stockholders and you have people
Yes,
you got to
sir.
report to too. You can't, you ain't gonna go back every year. Well, we gave the WNBA $75 billion, but oh, by the way,
Right.
we didn't make any money last quarter,
Right.
kind of thing. You got to
Right.
be able to
And
realize that
those stockholders are saying, what kind of investment is that?
yeah,
You
you
know?
got to realize that they will do so much for you to try to show their support, but that can only go so far. They just can't keep holding up something that's not going to be a cash cow. If you ain't going to bring something back to them at some point, they
Yeah.
can't keep going down that road. That's just common economics.
Exactly.
Well, for all those folks who say money isn't everything, it's not. But in our capitalistic society, in some cases, it's the only thing that matters. Well, we hope you enjoyed this edition. Join us next time for Old Fools Talking Old School. Until then, this is Mickey G. Peace.